G'day weebs, hope you're doing well. Today I'm back with another episode of the Pharmacy Isekai, episode 2. If you want to see my reaction to episode 1, there'll be a link in the description and I'll put a card up there as well. But we'll see how we go. Episode 1 was fairly interesting in terms of how they're portraying kind of old school pharmacy. And there's still some things that are applicable to pharmacy today as well. So let's have a look at episode 2, shall we? I expect we'll probably see more of the, like, super potion or whatever. Yeah, that thing. I expect we'll see more of that in this episode. Yes. The super jug that has no side effects to it. Unfortunately, as a pharmacist, I don't know how to cook that well, so... Oh well. Must be nice living in a fantasy world. She really does not like people touching her tail. That's funny. That's unfortunate. They're only kids, man. That's true. Gotta be careful. Does it just keep one on hand? What's it made of? What? Hang on. Hold up. That's odd. Also, this guy used to be a salaryman, right? So how is he getting all this handicraft stuff? And like, how does he know how to make medicines or whatever? She's a ghost! Anyway, whatever. Not my thing. Oh, it's opening. We shall skip this. Kiryo Dorag. Dishwashing detergent, huh? Okay. Ah, so he made dishwashing liquid. Yeah? I mean, today's pharmacy, like, if you were to study in university, I mean, you would still understand that kind of chemistry, but it's more to do, we do a lot more organic chemistry. I don't think detergent making would necessarily come under that. Obviously, if you did chemistry in high school, then you'd have a good understanding of how soaps work. So, I mean, yeah, it's theoretical that he would be able to know how to make that. I mean, he knows how to make other stuff, right? So, yeah, detergents, that sounds fine. Fairly, you could make a soap in medieval times if you had the know-how, if they knew how to. I mean, they had rudimentary soaps back then anyway, right? So, it would be pretty hard. Dishwashing detergent on an industrial scale would be very hard. I don't know about just a small amount though. Maybe if you're just making it for a household, maybe you could do it. I'd have to look it up, but you know, it's theoretically possible. I mean, if he can make like super potions or whatever, then that, like, it's not that big a stretch. If you want to suspend your disbelief that he could make a detergent as well. Good joke.
レイジさんが？今日は食事もいいからな。ミナにいつも頼ってばっかりだから、たまには休んでもらわないと。じゃあ食事は誰が？ちょっと待ってて。ノエラ、行くぞ。ああ、そうだ。これこれ。すみません。 頼んでおいたお弁当を取りに来ました。キリオドラッグの。
町外れの薬屋さんですね。
Yeah, apothecary. There's a more apt description for him than necessarily a pharmacist, since he's mixing up like herbs and stuff.
助かっているのはこっちの方です。
俺何かしたっけ？
あれです。いくら掃除しても匂い
Ah,
が
the
消えなかった
deodorant as
の
well
に、
from last
薬
time.
屋さん
Yeah.
のボタニカル消臭液を使ったら効果てきめんでした。
Should sell the dishwashing liquid too, man.
くれたんだ。これよかったら使ってみてください。
新しい薬ですか？
皿洗いがとっても楽になる薬です。
Okay, so though that packaging is probably not
薬もあるんですね。使ってみてください。
possible in olden times, considering the way they can make glass and stuff like that. But sure. Oh no.
俺にですか？
戦いの予感、ノエラ主守る。
ドツモツやめな。
ですが姉さん、
この私がやめろって言ってんだ。
うっす。
ノエラ勝った。
ジョン・ノエラ、そういうことじゃ。てかあの人たちは？
茜子団の方です。
茜子団。
This is the Isekai stuff, so maybe I don't have much to do this time. Don't know much about handling mercenaries. Know about handling difficult customers, but
そこの薬屋。
that's for a different time, I think.
ああ、いえ、お構いなく。じゃあ行くぞ、ノエラ。それじゃあ。
いやもう我慢ならねえ。
我慢ならねえっす。
おいお前ら。
Running after the apothecary.
この世界にもあるんだ。
I guess if like, yeah, this is like unruly customers. It's probably best to keep out of it like he's doing right now until they come to a decision about whatever they're fighting about. Good life lesson there.
じゃあ主のもの、ノエラのもの、ノエラのもの、ノエラのもの。
そういうのは覚えなくていい。
姉さん、
True.
茜子団は今ひどい資金なんです。誰のせいだと思います？
それは報酬がしょぼいからだ。
いや団長のせいです。
毎日5本をお届けすればいいんですよね。もちろん料金はいりませんから。
Okay, so that goes into kind of the whole business model of like pharmacy and stuff like that. I want to see if they discuss more about this. Hang on, we'll see.
いや、俺はただのクスシで。
まあどうしてもって言うならもらってやんよ。
薬神すんません、素直じゃなくて、こう見えても姉さん実は喜んでるんです。
喜んでるっす。だから俺薬神じゃなくて。
Are you gonna ask for anything for it?
喜んでねえし。
でも本当にただでいいんすか？
じゃあ。
Okay, alright.
薬神の仰せのままに。
Yeah, I was hoping he wouldn't just give them away for free.
つまりこの洗剤で食器を洗えばいいんだな。
はい。もし使い心地が良かったら。
Okay, it's for advertising. Alright, so when he was like, oh, I'll give you the potions for free, there's a lot of ethical discussion around, especially inside the profession, about community pharmacy's place in terms of it being like a retail store, as well as, you know, selling life-saving medication, or just medication in general, depending on what illnesses you have, right? So there's been a lot of debate about all the auxiliary products that community pharmacies carry, whether those are necessary, whether they actually work or not, and you know, how we usually give, you know, free advice on medicines, on conditions, on illnesses, that kind of thing. And it's caused a lot of heartache to sort of like standalone community pharmacies, like mom and pop shops, essentially, where they want to be able to give free advice for illnesses and things like that, but because of other pharmacies, maybe, or other chains becoming bigger, being cheaper because, you know, they have economies of scale, essentially, where some of the customers may go to them for advice, the mom and pop shop, but then go to like a big chain instead to actually purchase the items, which obviously means that the mom and pop shop loses out on revenue, which means that they can't be as open for as long. So this kind of altruistic exchange, it's something to be debated, and it's something that is being debated, and it's a hard question to come across, because if we stop giving free advice and we start trying to charge for it, obviously people are going to be upset, and we wouldn't want to do that either, because that's ethically probably not the best solution, because we want people to live healthier, right? If they're sick, we want to be able to get better. That's the whole point of a pharmacy, of selling medication, of giving out medication as well. But obviously, the workers, the drug company or whatever, the people who produce the product, ship the product, every one of those people needs to be compensated for their time in doing that for the customer or for the patient. So it's hard. I wouldn't say that the debate is solved by any means, considering the amount of discussion that goes on in every country about this. Not only about, the place of retail pharmacy, and whether that they should be charging for whatever, or prices for things, especially for medications, things like that. It's a huge issue. So while this may be, somewhat funny, where he's offering, potions in exchange for advertising, it goes to the heart of a very deep moral and legal issue: is how do we ethically sell medications where we get compensated for our time in studying to become a pharmacist is one. So the study, the time, the effort in storing it, and then having the knowledge and ability and being able to dispense it to you safely and make sure that you can use it correctly. So it's a debate between governments, between pharmacists, doctors, and the public, of course. And it's a debate that goes on in pretty much every country, I suppose, no matter where you live. So yeah.
の町のみんなにも宣伝してください。団長のポーション代はその売り上げでカバーします。
わかりました。どうぞ仰せのままに食器洗わせていただきます。いえ、このモズが洗うっす。俺が。いや、俺が。
お前らやめろ。ここは。
This also implies that he's making this dishwashing detergent on a fairly large scale. I don't know how he would be able to do that, but it's an isekai, whatever. It's fantasy. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
なんだこれ。
団長さん、これ使ってください。
悪いな。
Are they using them for labor inside the restaurant as well? So the restaurant lady is getting free labor as well? This guy is deal maker,
こうでいいのか？
はい、泡立ててみてください。
なんだよこれ！
こういうものなので大丈夫です。
本当だ、すごい。泡泡のふわふわ。ねえ、団長さん。
They haven't yet discovered that your fingers get all wrinkly yet.
団長に洗い物させるなんてなんだか背徳感が。なんだか興奮しました。
I don't know about that, but okay.
もう洗わなくても綺麗になってるみたいですよ。
笑わせんなよ。こんな短時間で皿が綺麗になるわけある？綺麗になってる？
なんていいリアクション。
団長が魔法を。
So, basic chemistry 101, dishwashing detergent, soaps essentially, lipophilic, they like fats. So the fats and all the dirt and oil essentially will stick to the soap or the dishwashing liquid, whatever. And that's how things get clean, generally. Easy chemistry.
Yeah.
As to how the chemistry behind that actually works, maybe I'll explain that in a different video. But if you've done like high school chemistry, or you're planning to do high school chemistry, you'll probably learn about that. Because it's not hard, but I just have to... It takes some diagrams to explain, so probably not here, but,
私は別に？
となれば薬神の見業か。
だから薬神じゃないって。
Yeah, and it's not by magic, it's by chemistry. But again, I don't understand how the salaryman guy knows all this chemistry off the back of his hand to be able to create these things, but Isekai, fantasy world, blah blah blah.
ただこれはそういう薬なんで。
こんなに食器洗いが楽になるなんて手もふやけないです。
これなら私にもできっかも。
団長が火事に目覚めただと？恐るべし薬神の新薬。
だからそれほんとやめてってば。
へえ、そんなことが。
ああ、これから毎日ポーションを赤猫団の団長に届け
But
る。
they haven't even done the marketing for you.
配達頼んだよ。
They just wash dishes.
ノエラさん、途中で飲んじゃわないようにしてくださいね。主のもの、ノエラのもの、ノエラのもの、ノエラのもの。それ
あ
は
あ、それは団長のせいで余計なフレーズ覚えちまったな。
レイジさん、ノエラさん、今日はいっぱい休めました。ありがとうございました。
ならよかったよ。
でもやっぱりお料理はさせてください。待ってる間ずっと暇で逆にくたびれちゃいました。
お、そういうもの。
はい、食器洗いも楽になりましたし、時間たっぷりです。食器
Uh-huh.
キュッキュキュのキュのおかげです。
キュッキュキュの。
Yeah, I still don't. That packaging is way too advanced for whatever this is. Because it's got the squeeze top and all the rest of it.
やっぱり待ってらんね
これノエラの分のポーションな。
主のポーションビビの味。
だから配達用は飲んじゃダメだぞ。
I mean, yeah, that's one way of doing it.
いってらっしゃい、ノエラさん。
頼んだぞノエラ。どうした？あ、おはようございます団長さん。今向かうところだったんです。
おう、偶然通りかかってな。
にしては朝早いような。
ついでだからあれをもらっていってやろうかと。
Classic Tsundere. She doesn't have the twin tails and stuff though. Oh, sad.
悪いな。
Also, she's not really angry. She's just not that
団
sociable.
長さん好きなんですね。うちにも好きな子がいて。
主のポーションビビの
And
味。
she's not like in love with the protagonist. So, yeah, just unsociable.
私、アナベルって言うんだ。私。
アナベルさん、俺レイジって言います。
そうか。これから私が毎朝取りに来るから。じゃあな、レイジ。
What a diligent girl.
来てくれるなんて、アナベルさんいい人なんですね。
いい人？
What do you mean? You don't understand what she meant? Of course.
案外そうなのかも。
I mean, then she can just drink it on the way home, you know? Beast be gone.
こんな
I mean, if you just bottle that, the flower or whatever from the last episode where, like, it repelled Noila, isn't that good enough? That would be a beast repellent, right?
が減ってるなんて。ノエラ、どう思うこの状況？
よくない。
だよな。俺たちの都合で勝手に薬草を取ったせいだ。なんとかしなきゃな。お、
Don't overharvest, man.
黄色い花を咲かせ、早く木は薬にもなる。
Yeah, so Tokyo Sauce and Jen's What. Look it up if you want to see what it's all about. It's still used today. Some people still take it. And it is a little bit active, not that potent. And it's used for like anxiety, that kind of thing. But yeah.
そうだ。ノエラ、これ拾ってくれるか？
種？わかった、ノエラ拾う。種拾う。
お次はと。どうかお願いします、ジュラルさん。
ちょっと頭上げてよ。
レイジさんにはお世話になったし。
使って我がアロンゾ家の畑。
ありがとうございます。使用料は月々おいくらほど？
恩人のレイジさんからはお金は取らないよ。その代わり今後も何かあったら相談とかいろいろよろし
Pharmacists aren't therapists. We can't help you with your marriage issues.
くね。
ええ、相談ならいくらでも。
No, you should not be happy, dude. Send them to a therapist. Go to a mental health professional for your mental health needs. we can sort of kind of direct you where you need to go, but pharmacists, that's kind of a little bit out of our area of expertise. We can help with the medication part of it if you need medication for it, but if you're looking for help with your issues, we could try. It's not like we can't try. We're still human after all, but mental health professional is probably better outlet for that. That being said, we do undergo some mental health first aid training. So, you know, in emergencies, that kind of thing, we can help out if need be.
さすが大地主アロンゾ家の畑。土壌肥沃度最高だ。ノエ ョン植えてくぞ。
種植える。
うん。
終わった
レイジさ
終わった。
ん終わった
はい。また明日様子を見に来ます。
あ、そっか。
どうしたんですか？まさかまたフェリスさんが？
ああ、いや、そうじゃなくて、実はさっき言い忘れたことがあって。
畑の作物が荒らされる？
ああ、最近あちこちで被害が出てるんだって。野犬か狼かわからないけど。
Nah, this is the
な
beast
ぜ
thing.
ノエラ見た？では、もしレイジさんが薬草を育てても荒らされる可能性
Let's bottle the flower
畑
thing.
の周りを柵で覆っても中に入ってきちゃうらしい。
が。じゃあどうしましょう？
大丈夫。考えがある。
It's always with chemistry, this
手
guy.
伝う。
Ooh.
いや、今日は来ない方がいい。
Okay, so just on the right hand side there, those instruments. So that weighing scale is actually obviously now we more likely than not have digital scales, but up until very recently, those kinds of scales are still used. In university, I had to learn how to use them as well, which is kind of funny. Not actually in university either. It was at a different pharmacy that I was working at the time. But yeah, that sometimes happens. The beaker and the tripod, I don't know what's supposed to be in that small thing there. That does not look like a burner or anything like that, but you know.
ウツボフラワー。魔物や
Yeah, see, I knew it.
獣だけが
I knew it. See,
不快な
ingenious.
匂いを発する
Only pharmacists could think of that. Yeah. That's good. That's the good
どう
stuff.
したんですか、ノエラさん。主臭いダメ。レイジさん、ちゃんとお風呂入らないとダメですよ。ノエラさん、鼻が利くんですから。
I don't know why it's affecting him though, because it's meant to be only for monsters and stuff. So
レイジさん何をしたの？遠くで犬が倒れたみたいだけど。
これ
it
を
just died. Oh man.
魔獣忌避剤。獣や魔物が嫌がる匂いを発する薬。
He has a lot of different interesting packaging solutions for all these things. I'm very surprised at how different these things are.
そんな名前じゃ売れないです。また私がもっといいのを考えました。その名も魔獣コナイです。
いや、10個ないと言って獣や魔物が嫌がる匂いを発する薬でね。
さすがレイジさん。昨日の今日でもうこんなの作っちゃったんだ。ほい。本当に魔獣コナイ。レイジさん、これは魔法使いだけ使える簡易結界だ。君は結界を作ってしまったんだよ。
いや、作ったのはただの
さすが我が友。
I guess in comparison to like modern day, like poisons, medicines are still poisons, right? And to that effect, like in a lot of countries, medicines and poisons and things like that will still come under the same regulations, or same type of regulations. They'll be in the same kind of laws and things like that because they should be considered in larger amounts poisons, or in the incorrect formulations anyway. So, for example, in Australia, there's a document called the SUSMP, which I'm going to look up the actual name now, because I've kind of forgotten. It's basically like the poison standard is the usual like offhand way of describing it, because the actual name of it is pretty long. But yeah, it's just called really the poison standard. And essentially in there are several schedules, which are like lists of both medications and kind of poisons as well, and chemicals, and they're named by a chemical name. So for example, there's 8 schedules in total. For example, schedule 2 is pharmacy only medications. What does that mean? That means these drugs in those specific formulations are only to be sold in a pharmacy. Schedule 3 is pharmacist only medications, where they cannot be made available to the public to just pick up off the shelf in a pharmacy, but they have to be behind the counter. The pharmacy needs to make sure that the public doesn't have general access to it, but they can get it if a pharmacist, if they consult the pharmacist and they have a chat and the pharmacist deems it, what you call it, the pharmacist deems it a good product or a good medication to use for that particular disease or condition. Schedule 4 is prescription only, kind of obvious, you need a script. But the more interesting ones are like Schedule 6 and 7, which are like the poisons kind of thing. If I find it in here, Schedule 6. Yeah, so Schedule 6 has things that are meant more for treating animals, so like vets and veterinary use and things like that. And also like a whole bunch of other like hair dye preparations, other chemicals, that kind of thing. Poisons, essentially. Because medicines in the wrong formulation can be a poison. So if you're ever interested in that, I'm sure other countries probably have similar pieces of legislation. But at least in Australia, it's called the SUSMP, or the Poison Standard.
その後、重婚ないは害獣に悩む農家の皆さんにめちゃくちゃ売れたが、この創薬中、ノエラは俺に決して近づこうとはしないのだった。なんかショック。
He needs to be making these on an industrial scale, and I don't know how he's going to do that apart from just collecting the flowers and things like that. And I'm surprised that other places wouldn't have already thought of this. I mean, if it is just coming from a flower, like surely just by process elimination, oh, monsters don't like that flower. Anyway, would have thought someone would have thought of that before him. Caption fluid.
おはようございます、団長。じゃなくて、アナベルさん。
おはよう、レイジ。
いつものですね。
いや、今日は10本にしてくれないか。追加分は払う。
いいですけど。ノエラ？
ルー。本当に好きなんですね、ポーション。
サンキュー。
ルー。
すまない。
ビミの味、ビミの味。
いや、最近は私が飲んでるわけじゃねえんだ。まあとにかくいつもありがとな。
すみません。姉さん。姉さん。
どうぞ、まずここに何の用だ。
Is it just these three guys? That's not really a brigade.
まさかレイジにおかしな話をする気じゃないだろうね。
ですが姉さん。
ですがもクソもねえよ。薬屋は関係ねえだろ。
できることがあればお手伝いしますけど。
ありがとうございます。さすが俺たちの薬神様。
だからその呼び方はや。
I wish my patients or my customers treated me like that. Nah, not really. I mean, you know, maybe once in a while.
じゃあ兄さんと呼ばせてください。レイジの兄さん。レイジの兄さん。
神様よりはマシか。
実は最近盗賊どもがやたらとカルタの町に来ることは知っていますか？
私が説明する。
そんな盗賊の警備で怪我人が？
ああ、かなり手強いやつらでな。
それで姉さん、自分のポーションを怪我した仲間に飲ませてやって。
余計なことを言うな。
でもこのまま盗賊にやられっぱなしじゃ漁師から報酬がもらえなくなって他で仕事を探さなきゃならない。
所詮俺たちは雇われの傭兵なんす。それで俺のところに。
ああ、レイジの兄さんに。
Truly, everything can be fixed by pharmacists.
ナイラさんはこっちで私と一緒にお昼ご飯作りましょう。ルー、ご飯。
守るか。あの獣娘の言った通り、レイジは私たちが守らなきゃいけない側の人間。頼るわけにはいかない。
そんなこと言わないでください。
I mean,
俺たちがこうやって暮らしていられるのもアナベルさんたちのおかげなんです。
I don't feel like that logic tracks, but okay, yeah, this guy, I think he knows better. Yeah.
少しぐらい首突っ込ませてください。
薬神様が降臨された。
だから違うって。
涙いっぱい止まらない。玉ねぎ切ると出ちゃいますよね。
涙？そうだ。ドズさん、モズさん、アルコールが一番きついお酒用意できますか？
もちろんです。薬神様へのお供えとあれば。 薬神様もお好きですな。
好きっすね。薬の材料として使うんです。急いでお願いします。
Alcohol is actually a fairly useful kind of solvent for a lot of things because it can dissolve a whole bunch of things, really, like ethanol. So it's considered like a universal solvent because it can both dissolve like polar and non-polar products depending on which end it comes to. Because if you look at the short end, the shortened version of the ethanol formula, it can attract both hydrophilic and hydrophobic, so polar or non-polar. This is getting into more like chemistry, that kind of thing. But ethanol is actually really useful in terms of creating medications or more like syrups, that kind of thing, things that need to have a liquid formulation because of that property.
仰せのままに。
レイジ、私にも何かないのか？
ありがとうございます。じゃあ
Caption peppers. Ah, okay. So he's like making pepper spray. So, like in the real world, caption, I'm assuming this is where they got the inspiration from. So, pepper spray is made from peppers, from capsicum, but the active ingredient itself is called capsaicin. So, CAPSAICIN. And, you know, pepper spray disables you, watery eyes, that kind of thing. So, I think that's what they're going for.
後で同じの買ってくるからちょっと貸して。
いいですけど、これお薬に？
ああ、じゃあアナベルさんも。
ノエラ行く。
今回も来ない方がいいぞ。
Again, we use a mortar and pestle, not this roly-poly stuff. It's just easier, faster, more likely to be more uniform because you can actually see what you're crushing in the pestle, in the mortar with the pestle.
いつもそうやって作るのか。なるほどな。
こうやって見守られるとやりづらいな。
レイジさん、ドズさんが戻ってきました。
わかった。入ってもらって。
こいつが一等きつい酒です。寒い日にこいつを一杯やって。
眠るのが俺たちの至福の。
飲むわけじゃないからエピソードは大丈夫。
仰せの通りに。
Oh, so that he's gonna do this whole montage thing every time he makes something. That's hilarious. I wish that was that simple when I had to dispense stuff in university. Oh. I mean, it kind of was, because obviously we had to use purified products, so we weren't, you know, chopping stuff up or anything like that. But in terms of like grinding things, making sure that it's like a uniform granularity, that kind of thing, mixing things, boiling things sometimes, yeah.
よし、できた。
レイジの兄さん、これは一体。
なんすか？
今近づくと。
So, obviously IRL pepper spray needs to be sprayed at you for it to have any effect, rather than just smelled. But, yeah!
お前らほんと大げさだね。こんな水がなんだっていうのさ。酒とカプシンガラシを混ぜただけじゃないか。赤猫団の団員ともあろうものが情けない。戦いの最前線に出る者がこんなもので視点抜刀するとは。
So yeah, I think the inspiration here is obviously pepper spray with capsaicin. May have just called it caption just to make it more fantasy-like. Yeah, sorry.
みんな、主ゴロゴロ、みんなゴロゴロ。あれがレイジさんのお仕事ですからね。
To make people laugh and roll on the floor, yeah. And have their eyes hurt.
ごちそうさま。うまかった。
ノエラ、ミナと頑張った。ね
姉さん、そろそろ。
そろそろっす。
わかっている。
なら薬を。
どうぞ、お前が持て。
Hope they're paying for it.
俺っすか？ここは年上のドズの兄貴に
You come in here, give me a problem, watch me produce a medicine, eat my food.
お願いするっす。
いや、ならここは代表者として団長に。
いや私は
団長、赤猫団のものは私のもの、私のものは私のものって言ってたじゃないですか。だからこれは団長が。
結局カプシン液はドズさんとモズさんが交代で持つことになった。数日後、盗賊たちが悲鳴を上げてカルタの町から出て行ったのは言うまでもない。キリオドラッグ、
本日もご来店いただきまして
ありがとうございました。
Ooh, who is this? Oh, of course, you gotta have the Mao summer.
町で入手しました新種の薬でございます。
ほう、これが巷で噂の新薬。
Still a very impractical form of storage. Anyway.
ダメですわ。このままじゃ全然ダメですわ。せっかくの晩餐会ですのに。
Alrighty, I think I will leave it there. That was a little bit more heavily focused on like the isekai parts of it. But I hope that you enjoyed, some of the more pharmacy related insights I had, especially the stuff about the more pharmacy related things. Again, if you enjoyed the episode, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. If you have any other comments about the episode, or if you want to learn more about the pharmacy side of things, let me know in a comment as well. I have episode 1 also up on the channel already, so you can check that down below as well. In any case, thanks a lot, guys, for coming along and watching with me. And I hope to be able to react to episodes 3 and 4 soon as well, because I think they're already out by the time this goes up. So yeah, thanks, guys. Catch you next time.